our family time, when it was skiing and it's beach time, it's always like a long overnight stretch. It's a very different thing living with each other.
Yeah.
So even visiting the baby at the apartment or in the hospital was very different than living 20, like you said, 24/7. You just tossed it out there quick and then we moved on.
Yeah.
But 24/7 being with all of us together is a different dynamic. And I do think that's what makes it different, because our Christmas holidays are like that now. And typically when I would get together with my family on Christmas, it would just be like for the day, for dinner. There was never any stretch of time we spent living. And that's what I kind of love about how our family traditions are. They are lived.
They're multiple days.
Yes,
They're
multiple days.
Marathons.
So here we are. Hi.
Here we are.
Okay.
A lot's happened in the past week. We'll do the express version of what we just recorded. Lots happened in the past week. We recorded the last episode before 4th of July. We didn't know if Tommy and Jen were going to come down. Now they came down and they had a good week. So
You should do the whole podcast like this.
The whole podcast in
And
2x
my thing
for
to say
Tommy.
is that Julie's obsessed with this baby in such a cute way. And then she was a little teary when they left. They spent for almost close to a week here, which is amazing.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
Thursday to Tuesday.
Very unexpected, I must say.
But very amazing.
Very amazing.
I think I was emotional as they were leaving because I had the realization, like, I know I'm going to see them next week too, because we are going to see them before we fly back to LA. But I was just thinking, I think last night it kind of hit me like, oh, this is like the last time, not the last time, but this time was so special.
It was so much time together.
Also, like getting to spend 24/7 with the baby.
Yes.
But also like getting to spend time with Tommy when he's not working. And Jenna, like whenever we're here for the summer, it's like Tommy's usually like working. I mean, he still is like doing his stuff.
No, but
like,
he didn't have to be working on like
him to be like on call. I don't know. So it was just like, I just kind of.
We had full-time family time.
This
was
like
really,
100%. Everyone was really, very locked in.
Yeah, we were locked in.
Sweet.
It was so cool because even I took the time off. Like typically I'm like still running upstairs and recording things, or I'm doing, but it was just like we were locked in on baby mode, all hands on deck whenever they needed. It was really fun. And they said to me before they left, because they were going to the Catskills, they said, do you want to come with us? Because I think they were scared to be alone, which is really cute. Anyway, that was so fun. It was fun. But the topic for today, we're not going to be baby talk all the time. We're going to move on and talk about 4th of July traditions.
We're never going to be able to move on, but
you're not going to move on.
4th of July is about to change big time.
It is.
So I feel even when we were since I've been home, I have undertaken the task. I'm calling myself the family historian.
I like it.
I have started scanning in all the old photos, and it was just like really fun to go down memory lane in that way of looking at all the pictures of like 4th of Julys of the past, because I feel like there was such like a system to how we had 4th of July in Surf City, which was the first beach house. And then when I moved to this beach house, it changed, but kind of like in a nice way, in a
well, when we had just so you know, the pictures on the wall were Labor Day weekend.
Oh, right. I mean,
but we always had 4th of July at the beach, and that's because I laugh that we were in the city all these years and we've never seen the fireworks in the city because we have always been at the beach. And when I had Jonathan, I was in the hospital on 4th of July. That was the only time I was in the hospital because I had a C-section on July 1st. So I was still in the hospital on the 4th. At that time, they kept us 4 days, I think, something like that. So maybe it was the day I was going home or whatever, but I was watching. I remember specifically that I was watching fireworks with him. I walked him to the end of the hallway as a baby and I held him up to the window and I said, little boy, you're our fireworks baby. How funny that he is obsessed with fireworks.
Obsessed.
Yeah. And he's kind of obsessed with the whole, the 4th of July, setting off the fireworks. He likes doing.
He didn't do that this year, though.
I know. I think this year, this is a weird thing that we didn't expect. His embracement of the baby, I think was unexpected. Because at first he was like, no, I'm not ready and all of that. But then he would constantly bring her up. When is she going to be able to walk? When is she going to be able to get trains? When can I play trains with her? He started to embrace it. He didn't want to hold her at all, but he actually held her hand.
He held her hand. We got it on video.
We have that. And he was just really, by the end of it, he was into it. So it was really cute. But he has always been the 4th of July celebrator of.
I think it's because it's near his birthday too. Yeah. So it feels like a big party for him.
We always do his birthday. We used to do a piñata. We were on our other block. That was a big part of our July 4th.
Talk about that.
Our July 4th celebration was always very beach, LBI centered. Okay. And it was centered around Jonathan's birthday first because it was the Six Flags day, the piñata day, and all of that. We always hung a piñata over the power lines on our old street, South First Street. And that was so much fun because all the kids on the block would come and we'd whack the hell out of this piñata. Everybody would be taking turns trying to knock it apart. And even the adults, because the thing was hard to break sometimes. So we had to help. It was really fun.
It was always fun.
Yeah.
It was always like, I think up until last year was the first year I didn't come back for 4th of July. And Stephen and I stayed in LA. And it was like a very hard decision because it felt like not coming for Christmas.
Yeah.
It felt like this like big.
Well, you had just been here for the wedding.
I had just been there for the wedding. We had
and then it was
just
2
flown
months
to
later.
Chicago for another like wedding. And then we were flying out again to New York for another wedding. So it didn't really like make sense. I had gotten a kidney stone and then I got in a car accident. It was like a lot was happening where I was like, it kind of was too much.
Yeah, it was a lot.
But it ended up being okay. It was just like, and Stephen even said, like, let's think of something that will remind you of like LBI 4th of July. So we found a Rita's in LA and we went to Rita's on 4th of July.
Oh my gosh.
We went to the beach, or I think we either went to the beach or we went hiking, but we did Rita's because we needed to do something that was like,
Sweet.
are you going to cry?
No. That's so sweet. I didn't know that though.
What? I sent you guys a picture of that.
I don't remember.
But yeah, we went
I
to
don't
Rita's
remember.
because I
I don't
needed
remember.
like something.
Yeah, LBI fix.
I needed a little LBI. Yeah, we went hiking and then we went to Rita's. And then the next day we went to the beach.
Aw.
So we had mini LBI in LA.
Good memories.
Oh my gosh, why are you crying?
I don't know. It's emotional. Everything's emotional. We have a little person. I was just thinking we have to bring back the piñata when she's older.
Yeah.
I know. So I was thinking, oh my God, it's going to come full circle.
It is going to come
It's
full. We're going to have to put it
just-
somewhere else. Where are we going to put it?
We're going to have to, Dad'll rig something out in the back.
Okay.
We'll hang it from the top deck or something.
So yeah, our old 4th
Oh
of
my
July.
God. That has to happen.
Has
We
to
have to
keep-
remember that.
be
'Cause she'll love
maintained.
that. And
I
then-
am excited that that she'll have like summery birthday
Yeah.
vibes.
Oh my God, right. It's going to be her birthday, then his birthday. Oh my gosh. I didn't even think of that. I'm so excited. Yay.
Okay. So
we have lots of good things to
lots
look
of
forward
good
to.
4th of July things. But I think one of the things I realized from going through all the photos is like, and Steven, I don't know if Steven mentioned this or if we just were like talking about it, but like, cause we were watching home videos too.
Yeah, a lot of home
old
videos this
4th of
weekend.
July's
Oh
where
my
it was
God.
like in Surf City, we're all in the house. Like Aunt Camille and Kristen come sometime. Aunt Karen always comes.
Yes.
And it was always just like a full house, big barbecue,
Yeah.
always outside, always like very, not like chaotic, but just like,
A little bit chaotic, but fun.
but there's also like no social, no one's always like on their phones. It's like we were
Right.
reading, we were doing all these things and like going to the beach every day. So I feel like that is what 4th of July was. And now it's kind of changed over the years since we moved to this house.
It has changed a little bit because we moved locations. So then the piñata tradition didn't continue. It was just by nature of we didn't have like kids on the block here to do it with or whatever. So we just didn't do that. And he didn't seem to miss it. We just
No.
evolved into something else. We did fireworks and we
Yeah.
started doing We never did fireworks in the other house.
Yeah, that's
that was
true.
not a thing. So we kind of evolved. So I think the point is though, that you keep evolving, but you make the new traditions. And so the traditions are going to keep changing, especially now that we have a new addition and it changes. She had her first beach bath today over in the beach sink.
then I got to witness her first beach little feetsies in the sand.
Feetsies in the sand.
Little feetsies in the sand.
Yeah. So it's fun. But the other part of, I think the vibe of, okay, the holiday, I have to just articulate this right. Because a lot of families will do our family time when it was skiing and it's beach time. It's always like a long overnight stretch. It's a very different thing living with each other.
Yeah.
So even visiting the baby at the apartment or in the hospital was very different than living 20, like you said, 24/7, you just tossed it out there quick and then we moved on.
Yeah.
But 24/7 being with all of us together is a different dynamic. And I do think that's what makes it different because our Christmas holidays are like that now. And typically when I would get together with my family on Christmas, it would just be like for the day, for dinner. There was never any stretch of time we spent living. And that's what I kind of love about how our family traditions are. They are
Lived. They're multiple days.
Yes,
They're
multiple days.
marathons.
And then it's like, bye, and then so we get to really see each other in like day-to-day existence. And I don't think a lot of adult families get to do that. I don't think so. I think it's like visit this, visit that. They live near, I think about my own friends. They live near their kids so they can just like drive over.
I know. It's like
a couple hours drive home. But we live 7 days straight,
But then it's like, oh my God, I think we got a picture from them.
Oh, stop.
Sorry.
She's obsessed.
Well, I just saw it. God.
I thought you were going to say, I think we're running out of like battery or something on my phone.
I think I lost my train of thought. 1 second.
Wait.
Oh, here we go. Got it.
Wow. I would never be able to do that, by the way. It would be gone for good.
Yes, I got it. My thought is, I think it's interesting because you're talking about, being able to go visit people, like visit the family, like your friends being able to just like, drive over. And it's so interesting because ever since I've left for college ever since I left for college, let's say 18, it's always been I come back for weeks at a time and then I leave for weeks at a time.
And the same, or I come out there for days at a time.
But it's never like, it is so funny because I'm like, what if we did live, like what would it would be it would be like, honestly, I feel like it would be so strange at first because it's like, it's been over 10 years now of this life of me coming, like
I have not even processed
because I'm 29 and college is 18, so will be 11 years that I haven't lived like in the tri-state, which is fine.
Okay, wait. So I should say
which is good.
I think it would be different if we didn't talk every day.
Yeah.
But because for whatever reason, I don't even think if we didn't work together that I think we would still probably be in touch every day. I just think that's just how we are. Like just random things like, I bought this today, or did you see the color nail polish, whatever the heck it is, we're talking about. But so that's a thing. But I realize also that Tommy and Jenna live near close by. And that's like a good reference point for me. Like you'd probably live close by. We'd get together once in a while for dinner. Like,
would we? I don't, no, I'm not.
We would.
But I say, would it be like more frequently than we think? I don't know.
I don't know.
It is just interesting because it's like now that I don't live in this area, it is a different vibe of like visiting where it is more of a week or a couple days versus like, we're just going to go out to dinner.
Right. And
I can't imagine just going out to dinner and then like leaving and then not seeing you for like 6 weeks.
That would be so weird. Just because that's what happens with Tommy and Jenna. I'd see them. Like I feel like I saw them more often.
Though.
I know now.
I think you're going to see them more often.
I think now it's going to change because of the dynamic of. First of all, I'm going to want to see my granddaughter more often. But I also want to what?
We should update that we figured out. Sorry, this episode is all over the place, but it started with 4th of July traditions, and I think we're on the same stream of consciousness. But Helen has finally figured out her grandma name.
It is cute. So, to a little backstory is that when I was born, I had no hair. And Jenna's baby. Well, Jenna and Tommy's baby have hair.
It's Jenna's baby.
Jenna's baby.
Jenna and Tommy's baby
has hair. And so I used to be called Helen the Melon. My dad named me that. So then somehow, why did you say Melon?
Because we were sitting talking about the grandma names, and we think you decided on Mimi. We announced that last week.
Yeah, we thought Mimi. Whoops.
But we were talking about Mimi, and you were like, it's not really fitting.
I just didn't feel it.
And then it just hit me, as all creative ideas, they kind of come randomly after it's been marinating in the back of your mind. I said, Helen, but with an M. Why not Melon? Like Melen.
Right.
And then I
said, wow, my father used to call me that when I was a kid because I had no hair. And he used to always call me Helen the Melon. Hey, Helen Melon. Hey, Melon. Like he would call me. It's crazy. And I was like, wow, that's like a sign somehow.
Yeah. So now we got it.
So grandpa, my dad, gave me my grandma name, which is really cute. So it's going to be Melon or Melly if she ends up shortening it. Like you can go Melly. But I like Melon's cute. But I think if we end up going like...
Or Mel.
Mel.
Like Hell, because Dad calls you Hell. You could be Mel. It's evolving.
Anyway, it's fun. And I'm excited.
And we
decided he wanted to be captain. Like
he's not going to listen to this, so we can speak honestly.
He wanted to be captain.
He wanted to be Cap.
But
let's be honest.
Look at your face.
The reason I have overruled the Cap, because I was like, I'm putting a big if there, if we have children, I'm like, Cap is not going to fly with me. That's not that. I'm just going to call you Tom, and I'm going to go, here's Tom. I'm going to have the baby call you Tom. Like that is what I would do because I feel comfortable calling you Helen and Tom, but I know Tommy can't do that. It's a whole thing. But Cap is just not happening. It's not grandpa-y enough.
Yeah, but
Mel somehow has some like grandma undertones to
melon
to
pops. And isn't it funny that melon pops are a thing? Like if you have a melon pop.
Oh yeah.
So we might.
But Mel's funny because it's like hell.
I like it.
Anyway. So that's the new.
So that's where we're at. And then I've been calling myself that to her, and Tommy has too. So I think we're all
progress.
So yay to that. Even though it's like I said I wasn't going to have a grandma name. It was just going to be Helen. It's close. It's Melon.
Yes. Okay, for another 4th of July tradition, I feel like maybe this is more of a tradition because now I can't get access to this food item, but getting soft serve ice cream is like a big part of the 4th of July.
That you can't get that ice cream.
We always used to go to DQ. That's always been a thing, and that's always been a thing for us, of going to DQ. And now living in Chicago, there was soft serve. There was a DQ we'd walk to. There was actually a DQ near our apartment in Chicago,
right?
And there was also a ribs place near our apartment in Chicago, and we would do what we called LBI nights, where we would go get ribs because Kelly's has ribs, which is the place where DQ is, and then we'd walk to DQ. So we would recreate. I don't think Kelly's is open for dinner anymore, which is so sad.
Oh, that was a good spot. But anyway. I do think all of our things are changing because since we moved to this house, we don't really go out to dinner much. Let's start with that. Because at the other house, we would always eat outside in the backyard, and some nights it would be hot, and then it would be like, we're going to go out to dinner tonight. We'd make a plan. And remember, we used to go to Howard's or some greenhouse. We'd go to those places. Since having this house, because we're on the bay, there's no view at a restaurant that's going to be better than the one we have at home. So it's like so much nicer to just do we all chip in and we cook. And it's also part of the event, like us deciding what we're going to make in the meal plan, deciding what we're going to have for dinner, and you guys cooking and everything like that.
I feel like that's a big part for us now, what the tradition of coming out here is, because now that we live somewhere where there is a beach, if it's like really gross here, weather-wise, like humidity or just rain, we don't feel it's like, oh, we're not going to have any beach time, because it's like, okay, we still have a beach.
Because they'll walk up to the beach. Oh, yeah.
Like there's still have a beach like when we go home. It's not like,
I see.
In Chicago, it was a little bit different because like the beaches were a little different, where it was like the lake, and it was the lake. It was still the beach. There was a beach in Chicago, but it just was a different vibe of like not an ocean and having a lake. And we never have like these big beach days where we go and sit for 8 hours at the lake. Versus in LA, almost every weekend we go to the beach.
Well, you had an interesting observation when we were on the beach, saying like, wow, all we have to do is walk up the block to get home. Yeah. Because when you leave the beach in LA, it's like an event.
It's a schlep.
Desand yourself. You're hot. You're sticky. You want to change. You have to
go get dinner. We get gas.
Yes,
wash the
it's
car.
like so much to do to get home, right?
Yes.
Whereas here, you just can go up there, feel sticky and hot, jump in the water, and just walk home and take a shower. So it is nice to be where we're located. Yeah. So that's fun.
What I was going to say is that I think I've always knew this, but like maybe more clearly now, is that the tradition of Stephen and I coming now is like we like to do our culinary projects here, and we really like to like. Almost our love language of feeding everybody while we're here is like what comes through.
And we appreciate it.
Although you guys are always not regretting, but always sassy about how much dessert we're having. And I'm like, God forbid you have a week where you have dessert every
single night.
It's not going to kill you.
Certainly didn't kill us. No. We ate it.
Yes. So
many delicious things.
It's important.
Many delicious things. And last night we had taco night. And Greek night another night.
That was taco night.
Taco night last night. We did Greek night another night. I like it.
We did burgers.
We did smash burgers. Good. Oh my God. Smash burgers were amazing. We're going to have to relive that. We have the smasher thing. So I'm going to be doing that one when you're gone. So yeah, all the traditions that change and evolve, it's still just that we're all living together.
Yeah.
It all comes down to that's what makes this like, we don't have to rent a house. We all can come to our house. It's like a home, and we all convene to it.
Yes.
And I love that. I'm so thankful that the one thing we did right in that first married year, me and Dad, 1988, is bought a beach house. And we didn't have a house. We had a beach house first.
It's like one of my favorite fun facts.
And it was like, buy the beach house.
Yeah. Important.
It was. And it was always a vision I had more than Dad. And then he embraced it. Like he always wanted the bay house, but I always wanted, okay, here's a little bit why.
What's the difference?
Okay, wait, it's not the difference. It's still a vacation house, but why I always wanted it is my great aunt, Aunt Polly, had a beach house in Spring Lake right across the street from the beach. Because in Spring Lake, there's a main street and then you cross and that's the beach. So there's no houses on the beach. She was beachfront, but across the street and her house faced it. She had that big wrapper, like a big one of those old houses with the big front porch with the rockers, the whole thing, like very doctor's wife, high end land down there. And we were the what do you call it? The freeloaders. So my mother had to work for her dinner. She would come down there and help her wash the windows and help her set the house up because like earning her keep or earning her vacation. And my mother at the time was like, helping my aunt set up this house so that we could have some kind of free beach time there. And always felt like we were, I don't want to say we were guests, but we had to earn our stay. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I remember that a lot about my mother, not so much me. I didn't have to earn my stay. Although one summer I babysat so Aunt Paulie had grandchildren and they were younger than me. They were like, so I was about 13 when they were born. And so I was like the live-in nanny for the week. And that was fun. And I would get to play Yahtzee with my great aunt at night once we got the kids to bed, but I was helping her. I was there for a job, for a purpose. And so I always thought, someday I want to have a beach house so I don't have to be the guest.
That's nice.
And here we are. And I'm not the guest.
Fabulous. Look at you.
Yeah.
I think I love that because I think it's funny. You get, again, looking at all the family pictures,
Right.
me being a beach baby.
Yeah.
And that now I live in Southern California. And I'm like, how does this not make sense to you guys?
Of course
It does make sense.
Yeah,
but like,
of course it makes sense.
no one should be surprised
No.
that I live in Southern California. If you see any picture of me from the ages of 0 to 5 and I'm like at the beach.
I know.
So it makes
Surprised
sense.
Tommy doesn't live there too. That's the shocker of all.
He swung the other way into the mountains.
He went to the mountains. It's so funny.
Which is, if you would have told me 10 years ago, Tommy's going to live in the city in the mountains and I'm going to live at the beach, I'm like, you're crazy. I'm living in the city. He's living at the beach.
Right.
Like, that's how it was.
Yeah. And
now it's totally flipped. And I'm like, I need to live by the beach. I think, yours is I want to have a beach house. Mine is like, I want to live at the beach full time. I think.
Okay.
Like I'm the next level of like
Okay.
you. Like I don't know. Like I want to live in a city, but I think I feel more at peace near the ocean.
Okay. I still feel that if someone came to shove and made me pick between here and there, I would pick the city. I would. For a lot of reasons, but it's another episode maybe.
Maybe that's next week's episode because I feel like now we're getting to a different topic of like I would live near the if LBI was warm year round the way Southern California is warm year round and open year round the way I would live here in a heartbeat, but it's not. And I think that's why I like Southern California so much because it reminds me of LBI
Here all the time.
but it's all the time.
That's nice.
Because I've always said LBI feels more like my hometown than my hometown.
Oh, that's nice.
So you succeeded.
I did good.
Look at that.
We did good. Oh, amazing. All right, this was fun.
That's good.
Let's wrap it up. Yours truly.
Oh my God, I messed it up.
I like that you went for it. Go for it.
Yours truly.
Helen and Juli.
Ooh, changing it up.
Oh, this was fun. I like
it is fun doing it in person. It's
yeah.
It is touch.
Good. We're here. We're touching each other. Anyway, thanks for listening, and we'll see you next week.
Bye.